Hello to all the changers out there. I am Katrin from Coinchange, and welcome to our AMA, Ask Me Anything. On today's AMA episode, I'm actually joined with two of our members from our research team, Jerome, our lead DeFi researcher, as well as Pratik, our crypto analyst. Thanks for joining today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Great. Well, I definitely have a couple of questions to go through, and the theme of this call is all going to be on stablecoins. So, Pratik, one of the questions that I have for you is, what are stablecoins? What's the different types of them, and why do we need them?
What are stablecoins? Essentially, they're digital representation of the everyday dollars or whatever currency we use, right? So we need something that is native to the blockchain, and that's how the stablecoins came into existence. Nothing much to it. Basically, there's three types of stablecoins depending on how they're backed. Okay, so you could have fully backed stablecoins one-to-one to your local currency. That's one way of minting stablecoins. So you deposit $1, you get $1 worth of stablecoin, and it stays or tries to stay pegged to that dollar. The second way of stablecoin minting is having partially collateralized, or you could say algorithmic collateralized. So these types of stablecoins are not backed one-to-one by your local currency, but they're typically backed by the demand and supply for that particular token. And then the third variant of stablecoin is basically collateralized by crypto itself. So you would have another volatile crypto asset that is backing your stablecoin. And in this case, typically they're over collateralized. So let's say you're depositing $200 worth of another crypto like Ethereum, and then getting only $100 worth of stablecoin. So that the backing, even if the crypto volatile price changes, fluctuates, the stablecoin can remain stable. So again, to recap, you have three types of stablecoins. One is fully backed one-to-one with your local currency. One is, we can say, collateralized by crypto, volatile crypto, which is over collateralized. And then the third type is algorithmic, which functions as a function of demand and supply.
Mm-hmm.
And then why do we need them?
Yeah.
Why do we need stablecoins? So we can take an analogy of a poker game. Okay, so in poker table, we have chips. We don't really carry our dollars to the table. We use chips. And chips, poker chips, is a tokenized representation of your dollars, right? And so the game that you're playing has a native token to it, which makes it easier for us to play the game. And then once you win the pot or lose the pot, or whoever wins the pot can claim your US dollars back with in exchange of those tokens. So that would be a simple analogy for stablecoins as to why they exist on a blockchain, is so that we can transition in and out of US dollars or any other local currency easier on the blockchain without having to exit the blockchain to your fiat and then coming on ramp again on the blockchain to play the crypto game. So that's one of the reasons why stablecoins exist. But once they came into existence, then we started coming up with more applications, right? We're trying to find more use cases to it. And I guess where we are heading right now is we can have stablecoins issued by the governments and the Federal Reserve. And those kind of stablecoins would be backed by the Federal Reserves, and they could be the official currency that we transact in the future. Now, those could be dangerous because the whole point of having blockchain and stable coins that are not controlled by Federal Reserve or government is that it's decentralized and nobody controls it. But having stable coins that are controlled by the government is also possible, and we are seeing some sorts of talks about it. So those are a few reasons why stable coins exist. I guess another reason would be remittance payments, right? If I have to send money internationally, right now it's a 4-day, 5-day process. And there's conversion involved between the currencies. With stable coins, it's near instantaneous, same day, maybe in the same hour, I can send money across the border. And that's another possible application for stable coins.
Mm-hmm. I love those responses, and especially the poker one. I've actually never heard that before. So it's a great way to break it down for, the regular users who perhaps aren't familiar with this market at all. And it kind of leads into my next question. So, Jerome, what's your perspective on stablecoins relative to the rest of the market? Like, why has Coinchange focused on, earning customers yield via stablecoin versus, other coins? Tell me about that.
Yeah, definitely. So, like the name implies, right? Stablecoin aim to be stable, whether they are pegged to the dollar or floating, having basically a floating price to whatever currency, whether it's your local currency or another. So, really, the the perspective of the stablecoins in the market is during those times especially is I would say the flight to safety, meaning that like Pratik mentioned, we've seen times and times again when we enter bear market or volatile period in the cryptocurrency markets, we've seen definitely people selling their exposure to volatile crypto and going into stablecoins just to weather down the volatility, and trying to re-enter at a safer asset at a safer price point. So I would say that's one of the three main characteristics of money, which stablecoins are in a sense, right? So here it's really describing the store of value, meaning that those market participants are basically exiting volatile crypto into stablecoin because they know that those stablecoins in the future will hold the same amount that they've exited with, and they are able to enter the market with the same amount, right? Which is not the case with volatile assets. So that's mainly the description of the store of value. Then we can also mention the fact that it's a really good medium of exchange, right? In the sense that stablecoin are basically the dominant trading pair today with volatile crypto. So in that sense, it's easier to exit positions and also potentially less volatile than when we are trading crypto against other cryptos or against other volatile crypto. Um, so that would be the medium exchange, and then the last would be the unit of account. But unit of account is really something that comes with adoption. We are not there yet, and so adoption is really remittance payments. So we're seeing this being starting to be adopted, but definitely potentially CBDCs will increase this adoption. And about Coinchange and the fact that our yield comes from stablecoin and other coins, it's really bound to the underlying revenue we generate through participating in DeFi protocols. So we will get the revenue on the currency that we participate in. So whether it's pulling the liquidity, whether it's lending and borrowing, for the most part, you get for the most part the revenue directly in the token that you use. So in that case, it's a safer bet to look at the top 10 volatile crypto, and also having yield directly coming from stable coins, like the name implies, right? You get the value without the volatility in the price, which is a great tool for investors that want to have high capital preservation.
Absolutely. And I think that's exactly why there's probably so many customers signing up for accounts for Coinchange, because there is that, I would say, safer option versus going yourself, doing all the research. And it's almost like a full-time job if you wanted to do and get these yields yourself. So I think it's great that obviously we have both of you from the research team joining us today to talk about this more. And I guess I'll float this question over to both of you. How does Coinchange ensure the robustness of its yield via stablecoins? Like, if it's pegged to a fiat currency in addition to the algorithms, where does this yield actually come from? Pratik, maybe you can start off.
Where does the yield come from? Well, we can think about banks, right? We deposit money in our banks. Where does the yield for bank come from? On the back end, they are lending it out to someone else. Somebody else is using our dollars, my dollars, to buy a house or to do something else with their business. And then in return, when they make more money, they give back money to the bank. The bank takes a cut and gives us the keeps my dollars safe. So similar things happen in DeFi. When we give stable coins, traders, on the other hand, can use our stable coins to enter in and out of their positions. So when they're trading, let's say on Bitcoin or Ethereum, if they want to get out of Bitcoin or Ethereum, they can transition into my stable coin, and I'm charging them certain interest rate. And when they want to go back into their Bitcoin, they give me more than what I gave them, and that's how I get my yield in my stablecoin. So that's one way of generating stablecoins. Another one is just you passively give liquidity to a pool. You're not actively lending it. You're putting your stablecoins into a pool, and then the in and out of pool, when people are pulling their stablecoins in and out of pool, the fees that are generated are also coming back to me. So it's not just the interest rate now. Now I am also the bank. So there's two ways of earning the yield. I'm also charging premium because of using my stable coins, but the fees that the protocol generates are also coming distributed to the people who provide the liquidity. So you are being a part of the bank. And this is the beauty about decentralization of finances. You're not losing your fee structure to a centralized authority. Your part of it goes to the developers. Obviously, someone needs to maintain the protocol, but a lot of the fees goes to the participants who give the stable coins as well. So I guess I'll pass on the question to Jerome to add to it.
Yeah, to support that, I would say one thing really is that what Pratik described is really utilization. So there's nothing related to price volatility increase or decrease, right? We're not making money at Coinchange through price increase or decrease. Although we can say that the earn account, which are, let's say, denominated in Bitcoin or Ethereum, will have the added benefit of having this price exposure, obviously. But on the stablecoin side, it's really a matter of utilization. So we are really, either in a bear market or in a bull market, we are generating revenue through utilization of the protocol. So as long as there's users on those protocols willing to invest, willing to transact, willing to borrow money, then we are generating revenue. So that's really showcasing that whether market conditions, we are able to generate revenue through bear market and bull market. Obviously, in bear market, people will still transact, but much less than during bull market. So then in this case, utilization might decrease, and then in this case, overall revenue, DeFi revenue, and then the yield might decrease a bit. Sorry, that was a jet plane. So yeah, that's basically how Coinchange strategies, and also the earn account is ensuring the robustness of the yield.
Mm-hmm. I've got to ask this question. There's been a lot of stuff in the news. So one of the things was a bit of volatility with regards to one of these so-called stable coins. Pratik, tell me, why does or doesn't Coinchange work purely with algorithmic stablecoins? And if you can kind of give a bit of background too on this algorithmic stablecoin that I was alluding to in the market.
All right. So why doesn't Coinchange deal completely with algorithmic stablecoins? So for starters, I guess doing everything in one particular investment is not a good idea, even in traditional finance, right? You always want to diversify your investments. Specifically, algorithmic coins, why we don't put too much money towards it is because they are experimental at this stage. They have not proven themselves that they work for a long time. There have been multiple stable coins that are algorithmic, have come into existence, and have disappeared. And the building up is slow, and the disappearing is overnight. And that's what makes them very risky. And so as part of risk analyst, like, our job is to it's not like we don't take risks, but we want to take tactical risks, strategic risks. And so we do allocate capital to algorithmic stable coins, but it's very risk adjusted basis. And why they don't survive is a good question, and we probably have not figured that's why it's experimental. We don't know, but we know why it doesn't work, and we're building every time we are working on avoiding the same mistake, but then some new mistake happens in the market. And with recently what happens is a bank run scenario where the price just keeps falling down, and then people have too much at stake to lose, and then everybody freaks out. It's a panic mode, and someone with a lot of capital is shorting on the other side, and that's a good bet for them. So there's multiple reasons why different algorithmic stablecoins have failed in the past, and no two have been the same. So that gives us hope into this whole industry, is that we're working on our mistakes. We're not repeating the same mistakes. But at the same time, when there's a new algorithmic stablecoin in the market, we do assess the risks involved with that, with the team, with the smart contracts, with the capital, the market cap of the coin, and then we do investments based on the risk-adjusted basis.
Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming that's what happened with Terra, right?
Right. So Terra, we had, when we started analyzing Terra, it was at a decent spot, and then towards the end, people were hyping it too much, right? The yield was same for a long time, 20%, 19%. And then there was a lot of hype around it. There was too much at stake. One protocol had 75% of all the Terra USD stable coins, which at that point is single point of failure for that particular token. And so in cases like that, we try to reduce our risk exposure to one protocol at a time. And that's why we don't put all our eggs in one basket. We try to diversify, and then we diversify it in a reverse way. When the risk goes into one single point of failure, we try to back out slowly from it, but still try to participate in this purely algorithmic stable coins.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that before. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. I guess it still applies
Never a good idea
to the DeFi space. And Jerome, I guess one of my questions for you is, what are the possibilities for people within the market using stable coins?
I would say there's really two main things that you can do, right? If you have stablecoins standing on the sidelines because let's say you liquidated some of your exposure to crypto and you want to enter, in a new safe spot or better price, I would say there's two options, right? So the first one would be to allocate those stablecoins into yield opportunities. So here we have Coinchange and different competitors that are in the space that and we call them CDFI or CFI, so centralized decentralized finance or centralized finance. In that case, Coinchange is different in a way that we are only looking at DeFi opportunities, whereas some of the competition is looking at reapplication, which is basically lending the money of your end client to counterparties, which are in traditional finance for the most part. So it's basically lending money to centralized entities. So that's the first way. Basically, hands-free approach. You basically put your capital, earning around 12%, 15% APY, and then once you start feeling comfortable re-entering the market, you can just click on the withdraw button and then just buy your favorite crypto. The second option would be to do it yourself. So then in this case, you would need to do the research, looking at, which protocol is giving a decent amount of return on stablecoins. So here we can look at, Uniswaps and all the forks that exist. We can also look at Compound and Aave, so basically lending and borrowing markets. And then you would also, so you would basically need to choose the protocol, and then you would need to set up a wallet for the specific blockchain that it's running on, and with all the added responsibilities that comes with owning your own wallet and so on, right? So and all the learning curve with that. So there's those two options. One is hand-free, and the other one is like more sovereign. But it takes more. You have really a lot more responsibility about what you're doing.
It's that full-time job that I
Exactly.
mentioned. In order for you to be doing this yourself, you need to be doing this full-time. Otherwise, there's trusted people like yourselves on our research team who are always looking at this material, always looking, to the future and what's going on there. And talking about the future, given what happened with Luna and Terra, like what new protocols would Coinchange be looking at to vet in the future to potentially add more yield opportunities for its users? Can you give me a bit of insight there?
Yes. So what I get to say is that regardless of what happened to Terra and Luna, our team is consistently looking for new opportunities, new protocols, new strategies, enhancing the APY that we generate on different protocols, making them more efficient. Sorry. And even decreasing the risk through new tools that we develop. So that's one. The second about specific protocols that we are looking into. Right now, we are looking into adding a new strategy for Bitcoin earn account, which hopefully, based on historical data that we have, would increase the marginal APY for the earn account to around 2 to 3%. Although I can't, you don't consider that as a financial advice and anything, right? That's just historical data, and this is basically being modeled at the moment and will soon begin production. So increase in the Bitcoin APY will be soon launched. And about Ethereum, we are looking at a strategy that is near completion and almost in production at the moment, which would increase the marginal APY to around 6 to 7%. Again, that's modeling and can obviously change as we go into production. Yes, and then about so that's about strategies and protocol that we aim to leverage. We are also looking at adding new token in order to deposit into the stablecoin. So mainly crypto-backed stablecoins and also fiat collateralized stablecoins. We don't really want to add for the moment, algorithmic stablecoin. Really focusing on those, and we've seen that they were holding very well during the meltdown at the beginning of the month. So that's also one of the I would say green flag on top of all the checks and research that we do on top of that in order to vet them and add them on our platform. So yeah, we're looking also to add stablecoins on the platform soon.
Lots of possibility. And I guess my final question to you guys, first off, congratulations on launching the first research paper available on our website, the RD5 paper. Can you tell us why people should read it? We've been talking about coins and DeFi. Why should people read this report?
Yeah, I would say definitely have a read. A lot of really good content is inside. The main key point as to why you should read it is obviously to understand that protocols are taking measures in order to adopt the institutional capital incoming in the market. So in that sense, we've done the research trying to understand who are those protocols, what they are doing in order to accept those capital, and trying to answer the requirements of those institutions, what they are what they're aiming to do in terms of risk management to satisfy those requirements from institutions, and how obviously they are being compliant and on the regulated side, right? So there's different approach in this regard, which is delve into more detail inside the report. So the main takeaway is really to have this understanding of, okay, the space is maturing, and we've seen a lot of institutional capital enter the space. Not only just the VCs deploying funds into round of equities, but also using the protocols, because the opportunities there are far higher than potentially in traditional market, right? When you can basically lend stable coins for 12% a year, this is not something that is readily available in the traditional market, right? So that's just part of the diversification mindset that those institutions have, and that's why they're looking into and already entering the space. And yeah, we've basically described those protocols that are better prepared in order to accept this capital.
Fantastic. Well, we'll make sure that if people want further details on this, they're obviously going to have to read the report. Jerome and Pratik, thank you so much for joining me on today's AMA. And that does it. This is a regular feature on our socials as well as YouTube platform. So make sure to ask us any questions. Feel free to tweet at us at Coinchange.io or email them to ama@coinchange.io. Thank you guys so much for joining today.
You're welcome.